Hey guys and gals, and everybody here from Drakewing Gaming, and Sylvie on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Conway, Julian's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, we're up, and let's go! Alrighty. Julian laughs at your misfortune, patting your shoulder reassuringly. Oh, you got off so easily, Wolf. I wouldn't have wasted my question like that. The canine just shrugs. Are we done here? I guess. Alright, that was fun. I'm glad you have those dice, Jules. It'll definitely give us something to do. Of course. I bring the fun as always. Better than staring at the latrines. Only the highest of compliments from you, Wolf. The three of you stand one by one. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. I'm going to do his thing over again. Okay. Wolf, what would you do? What would you want to do to Jules? Oh. You think for a little bit, then shrug. Hey, Wolf, if you won, what would you ask from Julian? The canine in question is staring at Julian, evaluating the lizard who fidgets a little under the glare. You've got to shut up for the next day. Not a noise until this time tomorrow. What? You can't be serious! Wolf holds a finger in front of his snout, shushing Julian. Julian opens and closes his mouth a few times, then stops, frowning. Wolf holds up his hand up to his ear before looking to you. Hear that? Sweet silence. Thank you for making the smart choice. Benefits us both. You laugh at Julian's misfortune while the lizard mouths along with Wolf's words in a ridiculous, exaggerated way. In response, Wolf just closes his eyes, shutting Julian out totally. The canine sighs, satisfied. Usually its cat got your tongue, but I guess the wolf took yours this time. Yours this time, huh? You smirk while Julian just folds his arms over his chest and rolls his eyes. Alright, so I'm not gonna do that. You must have some fun stories. Very intimate ones. You turn your head back to Wolf, giving his body a long look. Your eyes go over Wolf, looking over what you can see with his baggy, simple clothes. Muscular arms, broad shoulders, and intimidating scars contrast his impressively fluffy fur and intense, beautiful eyes. His stoic expression only makes him more intriguing. He looks so hard you even notice a bit of his shirt that's beginning to fray. You then lean forward, resting your head on your hand propped up by an elbow. So, Wolf, you're older than me, and Julian. Wolf quirks an eyebrow at that, tilting his head. Means you have a lot of intimate experience, huh? If anything, Wolf looks more confused. Julian, however, is taken aback. Are you trying to flirt with Wolf? Shush! Not if you ruin it like this. I don't think he can flirt, man. Like, physically incapable of it. Has he even had sex? Wolf glares at the both of you. Shut the fuck up, lizard. As for you, cat, I'm not gonna answer that. Come up with something else. Alright, so that will be start of Wolf's path, I believe. Yep, okay. There we go. Alright, never mind that. I'll think of something else. Alright. Embarrassing. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna skip. Okay. How long was that? Hard to tell down here. I think we've still got some time left before the next watch. We can get some fresh air, maybe find the boatswain and figure out what we'll be doing next. With Samuel being hurt, I mean. Figure that out and find me. I'm gonna rest until then. Sure. See you later, Wolf. Zoop! The canine just nods before stepping out, no doubt searching for some corner to nap in. And the wolf takes a cat nap, huh? You roll your eyes at the lizard as you head up to the deck with him. I hate that term. How do we become associated with being so lazy? Second now. Maybe there was a particularly famous lazy cat in some old story, or maybe cats just are lazy. I'm not. Oh, of course not. You're the hardest working cat ever. Surely they'll write ballads of you and you'll be as remembered as King Arthur. Ha ha, very funny. I am, thank you. Your back and forth continues as the two of you report to the boatswain. You figure out what you're to do while Samuel is hurt. The day passes without much excitement. As the time runs down on the current shift, you soon find yourself called up to work again. Feeling at least a tinge more confident now as you and the others end up helping with the other tasks. And just like the morning shift, that next shift would be wrung out as well, and before long you find yourself in the evening hours of the day, leaving you to wonder what to do this evening. Or if you should even do anything at all, or simply head to bed. How do you spend the evening? Julian's invitation earlier sounds rather exciting, and with how forward he was in his flirting, you doubt that it'll be an evening of sipping wine and discussing your favorite books. You hear the familiar sound of the fife and go to the fife lesson Julian must be holding for Wolf, even if for nothing else, and to make sure they won't be at each other's throats. Oh my. As work comes to a halt, you wave off Wolf as your group of sailors lets the others take over. You pull Julian aside, telling him you'd like to take him up on his invitation. The lizard smiles brightly, and it shifts into a suggestive little smirk as he leans into you. Oh, you want to get some quiet time together? I just knew you couldn't get enough of me. Don't make me change my mind immediately. He turns around with a little twirl, swaying his tail behind him with an inviting sensuality. Oh, come on, as if you could give this up. You roll your eyes, smiling. I'm just doing it because it's the only thing that'll stop you from talking. Julian turns back to you, holding a hand over his chest and his mouth open with a gasp in mock offense. You're so rude, James! Don't tell me you're taking after Wolf and becoming some sort of crass brute! Oh, I'm definitely sympathizing with him. You both laugh. Julian then wraps an arm around your shoulders to pull you towards the deck below. You're still not used to the transition from the deck to below. The sound of rolling waves, the hustling and bustling of the crew, the ripple of sails, and the tension of ropes dominates above. There's a breeze that brings a scent of salt to your nose, and a constant horizon that keeps you steady. Yeah, water time. Alright. Below, the creaking of wood replaces all of the noise. The abundant sunlight is snuffed away, and the salty sea breeze is tempered by a hint of stagnation. Of the other people around you, old clothes and fur and bodies. It's not as bad as you would have thought just a few days ago, but it's unique and intense. The sea packs everything tightly together, a bobbling little warehouse on the waves. It's mundane, but it's still an adventure to you. Nothing you've ever seen before. Certainly not another boring harvest day. You see the members of your watch trying to relax and pass them by. Makes you remember just how many people are on the Conway. While you're lost in thought, you realize Julian is leading you to the next deck down. The light becomes even fainter here, enough that he grabs a lantern along the way down, and the beating of the waves against the hull is much louder. It's strange, but in a slightly thrilling way, like when you're a kid and running around in your house in the dark. Where are you taking me anyway, Jules? Just follow me. I'll tell you more when we're there, alright? You pass by fewer people. You wonder if someone will stop you and ask why you're down here, but no one does. After turning a few corners, Julian leads you up to a small room. He holds the door open for you and gestures for you to go inside with the lantern, smiling all the while. Julian follows you inside, closing the door behind you. The lantern allows you to see that the narrow room is almost entirely filled with two huge racks on either side with a few straggler crates in the corners. Each rack has 3 levels of storage with multiple slats, evenly spaced, with an occasional missing one. Inside are what look like big bundles of cloth. The sail room! Julian suddenly speaks up, answering your unspoken question. Well, the secondary one anyway. Keeps all the sails dry. You turn back to the lizard and give him a little smile. You're such a know-it-all, I didn't even ask. I could tell you were curious, though. After all, isn't that why you're here? He runs his free hand from his thigh to his stomach. An anatomy lesson? You laugh, holding your hand to your face and shaking your head. Hey, don't laugh. You're the one this worked on, after all. He gestures to himself. You're right. This says much more about me than you. The lizard gives you a smile and sets the lantern down. You take a seat on one of the crates as Julian secures the light. Once he seems reasonably sure it won't come falling down and sets the sails on fire, he steps over to you. The green of his scales and his jacket are illuminated by the flickering firelight, the former glistening with brief reflections of dancing light. He smiles at you again, but this time there's no humor. It's excitement, a giddiness for what's to come, and a tender affection as he looks down at you. His tail sways behind him just as eager. Then his hands go up to his chest. His fingers unbutton his jacket and the rest of the way, the gentle rustling of fabric barely audible. He then unloops his belt and tosses it aside, letting his jacket hang free, open. He grabs one of your hands and puts it to his stomach, with only his undershirt between you and his scales. The coolness is a surprise, but the texture is nice, the shirt smoothly gliding over his scales. He guides your hand, letting you feel his taut, slim stomach before he pulls it to the side and wraps your hand around his waist. You squeeze it suggestively, giving him a toothy little grin. Let him do it at his pace. Naughty little lizard. Julian returns the grin, then pulls your hand away. He shrugs his jacket off, letting it slowly slide down his arms, making a little show of revealing his shoulders and the base of his neck. His collarbone is emphasized with the heavy shadow, letting you see the sharp divisions between his tender neck and tougher chest, before it's covered by the thin layer of his undershirt. His shoulders are slim, his arms lean, but still taut with some muscle. You lick your teeth, taking in a sharp breath. You're already getting pretty hard. Fuck me, Jules. I didn't expect you to be such a good tease. Oh, there's a lot about me that'll surprise you. Oh, yeah? Patience, kitty. Can't lose my good tease title now, can I? You roll your eyes at him. Soon enough, you find yourself staring at him, utterly enraptured. He slides his hands down his chest, palms flat, till they find the hem of his undershirt. He pulls it off in one long, slow motion, revealing his stomach, waist, pecs, until he is finally completely free. Oh, hello there. Look at them scales. Look at them patterns. Beautiful patterns. Delicately, he removes a necklace as well, placing it in the growing pile of his clothes. Now, all that remains are his pants. He hooks a thumb on one side of the hem, and slowly moves it to the buttons. Your eyes flick between the motions of his fingers as he unbuttons them to his eyes, satisfied at how he has you utterly focused on his every move. One button goes, then another, and another, until he steps out of one leg in one smooth motion. His other leg steps forward, too, leaving him standing right above you, clad only in his undergarments. Oh my. He grabs your hands and pulls the last scrap of clothing on his body down with him, letting your hands rub down his leg until he casually kicks them away, leaving him completely nude. Well, explore away, James. Julian, standing in front of you without a shred of clothing, allows you to feast your eyes. His body is covered in scales, but you didn't expect the beautiful, clean segmentation. The yellow scales of his chest are occasionally mottled with little bursts of green, transitioning to the outer green scales. The texture looks different, invitingly soft. It's harder to see him with him blocking the light, but you can just make out the lines of his pectorals connecting to his arms and the dimples where his thigh met his stomach. You feel an immediate hunger, a need for grabbing him by the hips and pressing your thumbs into the shallow curves. If you weren't already getting hard, that would have gotten you there all on its own. Your eyes then fall to your object of curiosity. Between his thighs is a cleft, a subtle line and shadow curving down further between his legs. It reaches a bit too high, but knowing nothing else, you would have mistaken him for a woman. It only intensifies your curiosity. Like, you know? Okay. I feel like an art exhibit. You stared this hard at everyone that undresses in front of you? If I answer that honestly, it would make your ego worse. He softly laughs. In this moment, it's a more intimate, smaller thing. It's different from the usual Julian, you see. More vulnerable, maybe. Well, don't worry. Unlike those paintings, you can freely touch me. That tender look shifts to become just a little more mischievous. Just undress first. Extorting me? No touching until you can see what I'm working with, huh? Fair's fair, James. You both laugh at that, but you accede to his demands. You quickly strip, revealing your fluffy white fur to Julian's waiting eyes. His grin only widens as you toss your clothes away, your fur haloed by the warm light of the lantern. You take your seat again, holding your arms wide open to welcome him to your lap. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to end up pausing it right there, because we're almost out of time anyway. I don't want this to go on for like 20 minutes or so, yeah. So, y'all can expect a little bit more fun in the next episode. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!